fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is On the Block with Strick and Bach. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
93.7 The Ticket veteran and Ortega connoisseur, Jake Bakoven.
I like Ortega and I like pepper.
Coming at you live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. This is On the Block with Strick and Bach. Hold up.
We are back on the block. Thanks for joining us here on the block. I'm Jake Buckman. He is Eric Strickland, the Husker Hall of Famer, longtime NBA vet, as we have a lot to break down here today. Plenty of topics to pick from. Brian Flores, Husker basketball, Tom Brady, Kayla Williams, and more. We'll break it all down for you here in the next 2 hours. Strick, first of all, welcome in. How are you doing today?
I'm here. I'm here on the block. You thought I froze. We good, man. Everything is everything.
We'll have to try to work on that again as I hopefully not going to get these guys' attention. Last time I had to knock on the glass, but
you don't hear me on the block.
Problems with again hearing Strick, so we'll get that fixed. But like I said, lots to break down today. And Strick will join us here in just a moment. We lost our man Big Sky there for a minute, so now we should be back.
How do you not hear me on? How do you not hear me on the block?
Oh, we hear you again. Yeah. This is you're supposed to, you're one of the prime members of the block.
When I step on the block, we need to be heard. You understand what I'm saying?
There we go. I think we maybe got it figured out. There's plenty of buttons to push, and I push most of them. I just don't push all of them, I suppose. So, but we got to figure it out. So now we can run it right back. How are you doing today? Now that we can hear you.
I'm doing great. What I was saying was you thought I froze, but obviously I did freeze. You couldn't hear me. So my voice was on freeze. But everything is everything, man. The weather has changed. It's feeling good again. Finally, I was able to sit out back and do what I do. I'm trying to debate on if I'm going to tap in on the wine again. I'm getting ahead of Thirsty Thursday.
Thirsty Tuesday. That's fine.
Yeah, we're going to do it. But yeah, we got a good show in store today, man. I'm looking forward to having some conversation. Yeah, we got the Huskers coming up, and it's a tough one. They're going out there to Ann Arbor, and we're going to see that. A little conversation with regard to finally hearing about what's going on with the GOAT, Tom Brady. And then obviously, like you said, we got Chris Basnett going to jump in on the block and holler at us a little bit. So it's going to be a good show. I'm looking forward to tapping in with you. Because usually, you like to stay in the ring. You like the WWF, WWE wrestlers that don't want to tag out. You just want to stay in the ring. That's why you silencing me over here. I understand.
Yeah. I'm the undisputed champ, but now I'm stuck in a tag team partner, and we're having problems. But eventually, the tag team usually figures it out, and we'll figure it out here. Like you said, Chris Bassett would join us here in about a half an hour. Right now, Nebraska, looking at the ESPN matchup predictor, has a 6.4 chance to win in Ann Arbor tonight. Of course. Yeah, that's pretty low. Of course, that doesn't really mean much. I don't know how they come up with those numbers. But either way, not expected to win coming into the game 6-15, 0-10 in conference play. Michigan absolutely routed them the last time that they did play. And Michigan at the time when they won 102-67, by the way, that's a lot of points.
They were ranked number 10 too, and that's changed drastically since that time.
Yeah, I mean so I guess that's maybe the part that maybe, I don't know if it gives you hope or makes you more sad about the previous losses, that Michigan isn't exactly where they were last time, but they did beat Nebraska pretty thoroughly. The worst part was the 25-6, in my mind, the worst part. I mean, there's a lot of stats you can go through that didn't look too good. The assist battle there, Michigan had 25 assists, Nebraska had 6. If they do that again tonight, they're going to have no opportunity. And that's a Michigan team, very talented, had the number 1 recruiting class. Caleb Houston, one of the best freshmen in the nation. Hunter Dickinson was surprised to kind of go back there. So it seems like a pretty good team, but they just haven't lived up to the hype. They lost to Michigan State this last game out. Michigan State just kind of used all their depth to wear Michigan out down the stretch. Nebraska obviously doesn't have the luxury of so much depth, but what are the keys do you see for Nebraska getting off the schneid, coming out of Ann Arbor, finally in the victors column in the Big Ten?
Well, one of the things that Michigan State did is they held them down to under 40% of shooting, both from 3 and 2. And so with that, that was what the difference was. Obviously, Dickinson had a great game as well. If the Husker return of Trey McGowan's holds true, where the defense has, held their last 2 opponents, number 11 Wisconsin as well as Rutgers, to under 40% shooting, then that will give them a chance. Obviously, they have to be able to execute down the stretch. They've got to be able to minimize turnovers so that they don't give up too many points off turnovers. Last game against Rutgers, which was phenomenal. It was, I would have to say, a first against Power 5 competition or top D1 competition. They won the rebound battle, which was significant for them, right? I think they won by 11. So, those things, if they continue to do, that'll put them in the game. Obviously, you're going to have the return of Alonzo Verge, who had set out for last game with, I think, some family issues, and he just kind of wanted to, ease his mind and take that pressure off. So Verge he had 31 against them last game.
Oh yeah.
Another thing, you're getting back the leader in assists, and Verge had 5.3 a game in the Big Ten. So those things will hopefully bode well. Hopefully they'll shoot better. They didn't shoot very well in that last game. Michigan jumped out and didn't look back. And so they've got to, on the road, you've got to go out and do as they did against Rutgers as well, and play well as they did against Wisconsin. Come out early, get establish themselves. Don't get down too quick, because it's so much energy that you have to expend trying to get back. And but some things to really look at, though, is the trouble. The trouble is the Wolverines are 6-2 at home. They play very well at home, right? Their record is 10-8. So obviously the majority of those losses have been on the road, other than those 2. And then they're 2-1 at home against Big Ten action. So another thing that doesn't look well for the Huskers, but hopefully we can change that, is that they've won 14 of the last 15 meetings against the Huskers since they've joined the Big Ten. So obviously the road record for the Huskers isn't very good, but anything can happen.
Yeah, and you're starting to understand why you throw some of the stats out there. Starting to understand why ESPN's predictor has them at 6% chance to win this game. It would be quite an upset, quite a surprise, as opposed to the Rutgers game. That felt like it, and honestly. Look at the standing. I think Rutgers and Michigan are kind of in the same place. I mean, Rutgers is 6-4 in conference play. Michigan is 4-4. So you would think maybe more of the chances here against Michigan, but they kind of have the brand name. Obviously had success last year, and Rutgers, for some reason, maybe it's their football program, always kind of gets drugged down, and you don't really believe in them until you see it. Obviously that was a chance for Nebraska to win, though. They had the lead up until the final minute and a half, where Rutgers took over and got that win. And you wonder too, and there's nothing, obviously, no bad thoughts toward Alonzo Verge. Good for him for thinking of himself first and trying to get through a really tough time there, and was still with the team. So it was very admirable of him to even be there on the bench. But either way, he kind of felt that was where he'd be more comfortable for that moment, which was a very difficult moment in his life. But you kind of wonder in that sort of game, would he have been the difference? And then kind of go like projecting into this game, like you said, 31 points last time against Michigan, basically the only thing only player that really got
showed up.
Yeah. Do you think that you see a return from him into the starting lineup? I mean, I think he was probably just out because of that death in the family, like we said, but more so, a lot of people have been wanting to do something. Right, playing coach from the seats that we're in, try to do something to mix it up, and that was kind of a thought. Is maybe, hey, he's the sixth man of the year in the Pac-12. Maybe that's a role he could really flourish in. And then you have Kobe Webster, obviously, to jump up there and take his spot. But Kobe had a tough time against Rutgers. Not just the final shot there, but 0 of 10 from the field. So I think that it's pretty highly likely we'll see Alonzo Verge just because of his success against Michigan, the role he's had on this team all along, and maybe the fact that Kobe didn't necessarily take as much advantage of it, didn't have as good of a shooting night as maybe you'd want in that one time getting the start.
Yeah, and that's true. I think too. I think that situation can go well for someone that's looking to reacclimate himself into whatever it is that Coach Hoiberg wants, right? It's totally different being on the court, seeing what you see on the court than it is seeing what you see from the bench, right? I can attest to the fact that I learned so much by the time of my earlier days when I was just sitting there watching Jason Kidd and watching Derek Harper and watching those guys as point guards, trying to learn the point guard position and what it is that is needed in of me, right? Although I had always been a two and someone that had attacked the basket, I understood what it was and how to find what I do well and do that. And so for me, it was in transition. I think the same thing is for Verge, right? Verge needs to take advantage of transition, push what I call push and probe type situations where he pushes the ball, doesn't overhandle. Once you don't have it, get it out, get it moving, get into something to where and get into something to where the team has a necessity for. Maybe it's Derek Walker. We need to get inside. We need to get something. We maybe need to get a foul or two on Dickinson. Maybe it's Bryce McGowan's coming off and getting something on the run or something in transition, finding him on the wing where he was able to spot up pretty well earlier in that Rutgers game and knock down some shots, finding him in situations. So getting a good understanding of what guys are doing, how they're doing it, where they're going to be. And those are the things that I saw from last game. And I'm sure he did as watching from the bench as well. When you get pulled out of the game, Bach, when you get pulled out of a game, your mind is not necessarily on that. Your mind is on what did I do? What did I do wrong? Is there something I need to change? So whereas there, you don't have any of those pressures. You're just really just observing what's happening on the floor. So you're able to see what they did successfully. And then you're also able to see down the stretch why it was that you weren't able to get the job done and why you didn't finish that game. And so hopefully he'll learn from that.
Well, and I always want to stress when I'm having these conversations, it's not so much asking him to take on lesser of a role, because it would really be to kind of just go back to the role that he was a superstar in down in Arizona State, where, that the best in the league in that role. So it's not necessarily, okay, we're going to take away starters minutes from me. It's just a different way to go about to get those same minutes would be my hope, is because he's definitely their best ball handler. One of the only guys that can kind of create his own shot, penetrates very well. We all know what Alonzo Verge does well. For some reason, this just hasn't worked. So you want to see what they can do to kind of create something to get going for this team, as it has been almost 2 months since they played Michigan last, and they still have the same amount of wins in the win column in the Big Ten.
Another positive too is, obviously you get the return of Trey McGowan's. Right now he's getting his lungs under him, his legs under him. And so you have a threat and weapon, especially in transition. But Alonzo Verge plays great defense. So with him, Trey, and then you've seen Bryce pick it up a little bit differently on the defensive end in some instances, right? So now, and then obviously, the big fella does great things inside. Derek does defensively, great hands. And then, Lat was attacking the glass a lot more and doing things like that. And he's not as aggressive on the defense, but he tries. So when you put them all together, if they operate on a string, which is meaning they move, with each other, and they can do what they've been doing, they've got a chance there in Michigan. I mean, I'm not going to say for sure. I mean, obviously the numbers don't look in their favor right now, but at the end of the day, you've got pieces back in full strength that you didn't have. So it could be a change of some sorts.
Yeah, and I'm excited to watch Bryce too, coming off another Big Ten Freshman of the Week. He's got a battle to win that award, though. I mean, as many times as he's winning the weekly award, the yearly award is going to be difficult. Caleb Houston, one of those guys right there that he's going to match up with tonight. Maybe he can try to show a little bit better than he did against Michigan last time out, where he had 8 points, 2 of 9 from the field. Like I said, since then he's scored more than 8 in every game. So you kind of hope that it's not a mismatch for him. It's not a mismatch for Nebraska. Certainly a possibility if they lose this game by double digits or a large amount, that's what we'll be walking away going, okay, well, it's a mismatch. But what are some of the other takeaways that you would think you'd have if this game doesn't end up that way? Can Nebraska have a moral victory by keeping it close to Ann Arbor and really looking quite a bit different than they did against Michigan last time out?
I don't think they can have moral victories anymore. I think they're past that. I think though, here's the real of it, of the whole situation. It is tough to win on the road. It doesn't matter. I mean, that's why you have to take advantage of your home. You have to win your home. This is how you win conferences. This is how you put yourself in great positions to get into the NCAA tournament. You have to take care of home at a high clip. You see that at Michigan, right? Michigan is basically 6-2 at home and 2-1. So now they're going to get a stretch. They're going to get a long stretch of a lot of home games in which they've had success. So their numbers in the Big Ten could change pretty quickly. They played a lot more of their games on the road than they have at home. So that's the thing I think Jawan and his crew and staff are looking at as well. They're like, hey, okay, we're at home. We just lost a tough one. Michigan State is deservedly so. They played, just better than us. But at the end of the day, now we're back home, baby. Now we've got to take care of home. We've got to do what we've got to do in this stretch. We've got to win all these games. We can't slip. We can't overlook. We can't take day off. We've got to get the dub, baby, if we want to get back to the NCAA tournament. So those are the conversations I'm pretty sure Jawan is having, not the way I said it. I mean, I don't say it with the same fire, fervor, and flair that probably he does, but I'm saying it in a similar light probably as to what they're trying to accomplish. And they understand the end goal, and it has to go through the Huskers.
Yeah, and you hope to. I mean, because we talk about all these outcomes that what would it mean for Nebraska, for Michigan? Talk about being squarely out of the NCAA tournament. A loss to Nebraska would be quite ugly at home. Yeah. For their opportunity there. So I mean that would,
especially at 10-8, Bach, with their overall record, right? Yeah, they need to be at the top. I mean, they really need to be pushing the Big Ten, and then still probably need to land a couple in the tournament even for them to get a look. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah, so I mean, but it's not going to be new to them. A lot of their games are going to be must win, but this would be particularly ugly on that tournament resume. And for Nebraska, if you look past this game, you do get to breathe a little bit easy and talk about winning home games. Or maybe it's not. Maybe those are the most crucial games of all, is just to try to get off the schneid to get any wins, would be Northwestern and Minnesota in the next 8 days. They have on Saturday and then I believe next Wednesday 2 home games against Northwestern, Minnesota. For what it's worth, those are the 13th and 12th ranked teams as far as the standings go in the Big Ten, where Nebraska is obviously at 14. So obviously a chance to get off the schneid there. Hopefully they get it done a little bit earlier in Ann Arbor tonight, and we'll have the post-game show to talk about it. So tune into 93.7 The Ticket for that post-game show. We'll take a quick break. We'll talk more Husker hoops coming up next with Chris Bassnett of the Lincoln Journal-Star. That's coming up next here on The Block on 93.7 The Ticket.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, Steve. Welcome to Great Clips.
Great Clips asks, what's the difference between good and great?
Come on back and have a seat.
Good asks you what haircut you'd like.
I have all your details from last time. Would you like the same haircut today?
Great already knows. With Clip Notes, we save your haircut details so you can get the same thing as last time, every time. Download our online check-in app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
Casey's General Store is giving you the chance at winning 2 free tickets to a Nebraska home basketball game this season. Stop by any Casey's location in Lincoln throughout basketball season. Enter your name into the registration box, and you'll have a chance to win 2 tickets to an upcoming Nebraska basketball game. Every drawing will occur at least 24 hours before the game that has its selected winner. So make sure to get to any Casey's in Lincoln today for your chance at 2 free tickets for Nebraska men's basketball games. Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.07 per hour and other select jobs starting at $23.77 per hour, with wages growing up to $29.71 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Increasing cloud cover, much cooler conditions here for our Tuesday. We top out at around 39 with a north wind at 15 to 25. Mostly cloudy tonight, a low dropping down to around 11, and it looks quite chilly for our Wednesday. We'll see cloudy skies with a high of only 16. That's a check of your forecast. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Here's your binky, buddy. We'll be home soon.
You'd never give your baby a pacifier that has cigarette ash on it. But if you're smoking around your kids, yeah, it's kind of like that. Secondhand smoke contains thousands of toxic chemicals that can have a lasting effect on your child's health. Protect your children. Don't smoke around them or any child.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit line. 1-800-QUIT-NOW. 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Today on Hey Culligan, unnecessary contaminants. Here's the referee.
Hey Culligan, that's a flag on my water for flagrant foul taste.
Ooh, that's a tough one, ref, but the solution is a Culligan Smart RO drinking water system that reduces up to 58 contaminants, making your water safer and delicious.
Yeah, I guess I missed that call.
And with the Culligan Connect app, you always know when your filters need changing.
The water's up and it's good.
Good call, ref, and we're already on the way.
Try a Culligan water softener for just $9.95 per month. Go to CulliganLincoln.com. Need to send a message? Send it with cake. Congratulations? Here's a congratulations chocolate rum cake from Beatrice Bakery. Thank you? Say thank you with an amaretto cake. I'm sorry that I accidentally hit your mailbox with my car as I was backing out of the driveway and then continued right into your prized petunias. You say that with a lemon drop cake. Everybody knows that. Beatrice Bakery in downtown Beatrice or online at beatricebakery.com. Here to help you say whatever it is you need to say. Welcome to our world of yum. Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Bach on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It is Tuesday, and that means that the club is going up on our Tuesday, of course. One of our favorite opens here on the block. We have a special guest here, Chris Bassett, a Lincoln Journal-Star, coming up next. We're giving him a call right now to try to break down some more of this Nebraska basketball matchup with the Wolverines tonight in Ann Arbor. 8 o'clock tip if you are planning on watching, of course, the Huskers looking to get their first win in the Big Ten. Strick, do you think that you're less of a fan if at this point in the season you miss a game or two? There's I've seen some people debating on Twitter whether that makes you less of a fan.
I'm on a Tuesday, man. I don't know. I'm a fan all the time. It don't matter for East Stricky. I'm always a fan. It don't matter if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, love son. Yeah, it don't matter what day it is for me. Stricky is always a fan.
All right, we'll bring in Chris Bassett of the Lincoln Journal-Star. Chris, I'll start with that question. Does it make you less of a Husker basketball fan if you don't watch tonight, do you think? I've seen some fans getting frustrated, and they're going to tune back in once the Huskers win a game or two.
No, I don't think it makes you less of a fan. I mean, I get it. You get the frustration, and that's part of fandom is being frustrated, right? You've got a team that's 0-10 in the conference that's been close a few times and has now been able to close it out. You're coming off a frustrating victory or a frustrating loss, excuse me, and you're playing a tough team on the road tonight. You know, I think the people that don't tune in, certainly there's several of them. I don't know that it's the majority. Maybe it is. I don't know, but I doubt it. So yeah, I don't think it makes you less of a fan. I think it just makes you a realist and somebody that's just frustrated with what's gone on this season.
Yeah, I think some nights you can, what do they call them? Like your personal health days or whatever. Maybe it's better for yourself not to watch Nebraska basketball. But for myself, I'm a way to put, I can put all that stuff to the side. I still think any day with Husker basketball is better than a day without it. So I'm excited for this matchup against Michigan tonight. Michigan hasn't been what they were hyped up to be going into the season. As you've kind of scouted this team, why do you think that that's the case so far?
Well, part of it's been they've really struggled on offense. When they've lost, it's because their offense has not been very good. And you saw it after they came to Lincoln and hung 102 on Nebraska. Their offense really went into a funk. They struggled to shoot the three-pointer. They struggled to get Hunter Dickinson going inside. They struggled in transition. They were kind of stuck in the mud there for a little bit. And these last few games, they've kind of found something again. The loss at Michigan State notwithstanding, they've shot it much better from three-point range. They've gotten their transition game going, and that makes everything easier for Hunter Dickinson inside. We all know how good he is. So this team has all kinds of skill. There's no doubt about that. And then Juwan Howard has proven he can coach. But, sometimes you go through funks, and that happened with Michigan. I think you're starting to see a lot of it now, and part of it is, too, you're playing a really tough conference. Let's not forget that, too. If you start to struggle, it can get out of hand quick. So, yeah, I think you just saw a team that went through a lull there for a little bit. They're starting to play better now, and we'll see what that means for them going forward.
And last time they played Nebraska and Michigan, it was a little over a couple months ago, I think now. But in any case, Nebraska ended up losing 102-67, along with Auburn. Kind of looked like one of the biggest mismatches on the court for Nebraska this year, other than Alonzo Verge, who put up 31 points. Do you think that that's what it is? Is this a mismatch, or was that just kind of the flow of the game? And maybe Trey McGowan's coming back as your best perimeter defense gives you a shot tonight?
Well, it's a mismatch if Michigan hits 15 threes again. There's no doubt about that. And I don't think they will. I think Nebraska's perimeter defense will be better, in part because Trey McGowan's is back. They didn't have him the first time. They were dealing with a non-COVID viral infection the first time. And look, the effort wasn't very good on top of that. If we see tonight what we saw a couple months ago, then I think it's fair to ask what the heck's going on. But, it's a deal where Michigan had a really, really good night. Nebraska had a really, really bad night, and they happened to happen on the same night when they were playing each other. So, again, we'll see what it looks like. I think getting Trey McGowan's back helps. I don't know if that's enough to get them over the top, but it should make them more competitive.
Hey, Chris. Yeah, one question. So we obviously know that Verge was out. I think if you watch the game, you would see some different types of flow. They got off to a really good start against Rutgers. Obviously, they play great defense, but will the return of Verge be the best opportunity for them to win, or do you think Kobe still at the point will give them an opportunity to remain in a solid flow, even though Kobe didn't shoot the ball well, but they look like they had a really good offensive flow other than late in the game?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting question. There's not a better shot creator on the roster than Alonzo Verge, and we know how he plays. We know he's going to dribble a lot, and the ball can stop in his hands, and that's not what Nebraska's offense is about. But you also have seen up and down flashes from Kobe Webster too, and look, Kobe went 0 for 10 the other night. He missed the free throw. That happens. You have a bad night sometimes in basketball, and you don't blame him for the loss in any way. But look, if Alonzo Verge is back and he's available to play tonight, he's going to play. He's one of their best players, whether people like it or not. He like we talked about, he was the one guy that maybe had a really good game against Michigan the first time these teams played. So you need all your bullets if you're going to go up to Michigan and hope to win this game or give yourself a chance to win this game. So if he's available, I would expect Verge back in the starting lineup, but I do think you'll see maybe a little more Verge maybe playing off the ball and giving him some opportunities to do some things off the ball rather than running the point.
And what has allowed, do you think, Bryce McGowan's to improve as he has? I mean, 29 points against Rutgers. They've really, he's kind of been the one bright spot is to watch his development throughout the season. Do you think that he's kind of in a hot streak, or do you think that this is where he can stay with Nebraska, kind of leading them nightly with 20-point games?
Well, I think he's a 5-star recruit, and you're seeing the talent come out finally, and he was going to have to make an adjustment. A, to college ball, and B, to playing in the Big Ten, where it's just so physical every night. And we saw him struggle with that early on. We saw him struggle with that against high major opponents early in the year, Creighton, NC State, Indiana, and Michigan, the two early games there. But you've seen him adjust to it and be able to take contact better and be able to finish in traffic better and make better decisions. That's just part of growing up. That's part of being a freshman and learning how to play the game at the next level. I don't think anybody questioned Bryce McGowan's talent. It was always there, but it was going to be a matter of could he match the physical, the mental part of it to the physical. And I think you've seen him start to do that and realize what it takes to compete in this conference on a night-to-night basis. And that's really allowed him to unlock another part of his game. Now, is he going to score 25, 30 points every time out? Probably not. But you know what? He's turning himself into a really, really good player. And I think he's a guy that's really just starting to recognize his potential.
And jumping over from basketball to just some of the national storylines, it's kind of been a busy day altogether. Obviously, with Tom Brady's retirement, we'll get to that in a second. But Caleb Williams heading out to USC instead of Wisconsin, which was kind of rumored there for a while. How big of a break is that for Nebraska football? And at the same time, how big of a loss is that for the Big Ten if they could have potentially landed him?
Well, he's a pretty good player. I mean, it's certainly look. Nebraska wasn't beating Wisconsin when they didn't have Caleb Williams. So I don't know how much of a difference it makes there. Certainly he's a very good player. And I think he's going to make USC a contender right away. There's no doubt about that. So yeah, it's look, if you're the Big Ten, you obviously want all the marquee names you can get into your conference, and he would have been another marquee name. But he went west. He followed his coach to USC, and that's where it is. So I think if you're Nebraska, you probably breathe a little bit of sigh of relief, while at the same time knowing Wisconsin's still going to be pretty tough. If you're Wisconsin, you're kind of saying, "Dang, I wish we could have got that guy."
And then with the Tom Brady situation, some of it's interesting, just kind of his legacy and all that. But what did you make of the retiring, not retiring, ESPN, going with the story all weekend and not really even acknowledging that there were other reports out there that wanted to wait, and they ended up being right.
Yeah, I think it's a deal where Tom Brady probably wanted to be the one to announce the news himself, and he's probably earned that right with the career he's put together, and ESPN was just on it and stuck with it, and sometimes that's how it goes. Like the NFL is so deeply covered by so many media members, stuff like that's going to get out. It doesn't matter. And so was this going to leak early? Probably. Was Tom Brady mad that it leaked before he wanted it to? Probably. But that doesn't make it any less true. And so the situation is what it is. You salute the guy on a great career and wish him well in retirement. But yeah, I think that's just the way the world works anymore with social media and the 24-hour news cycle and things like that. That if it was really going to happen, it was going to get out before Tom Brady wanted it to.
Hey, Chris, what do you think about the big Joe Theismann leak? There's a lot of leaking. There's a lot of holes going on out there. Joe Theismann talking on a podcast and just happened to kind of drop the name of the new Washington football team a couple days early without I'm sure that's not the way they wanted to unload it, but it looks like that's it's going to be the Commanders based on what Joe Theismann's saying.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's a pretty leaky ship over there at the NFL. It looks like, Strick, and so yeah. I mean, I'm not a big Washington fan either. I guess it doesn't really affect me either way, but still pretty funny that you've got one of the franchise's all-time great players, one of its most iconic faces, just hopped on a podcast and be like, "Oh yeah, here's the nickname."
Yeah.
And when watching us probably planning something big and wanting to have a big reveal and all that sort of stuff. So yeah,
he dropped a dime. Yeah, don't tell him the secret, Chris. You tell him the secret. Snitches get stitches. He dropping dimes on everybody.
Right. Yep, snitches get stitches. You got it, Strick. That's it.
It's an interesting day. A lot of stuff going on in obviously the sporting world. We're focusing in on that game in Ann Arbor. So we'd like to thank Chris Bassett once again of the Lincoln Journal-Star for joining us and giving us a prep for that game tonight.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate the time.
Yeah, no problem. Right. There he goes, Chris Bassett of the Lincoln Journal-Star, and I do want to hit that as well. So he discussed it, and he said the Commanders. That's the name that we're expecting now. We get our.
We don't know, but. Joe Theismann, he on the inside. I mean, he's been with the Hogs for a long time. So hey, I don't know. He sounded the way he sounded. He sounded very confident. He was jumping up and down like he had the answer. I was like, okay.
Do you think that he did that on purpose? I mean, he has to know if he's that well connected. He should know that that it hasn't been announced yet.
Man, that's what's throwing me for the loop right now. I'm like, did you know? Did you know they didn't want to tell you that? You got a couple of days now. I'm sure they got on the phone immediately and hit him up and was like, "Yo, man, what you doing, bro? You telling the whole scoop. You got us on Rico. You telling we all going to jail because of you."
I don't know how I feel about Washington Commanders either. There are a lot of good names out there. I guess any of them are like 10,000 times better than the previous one they had. So you take whatever you get. But
what's going on in Washington, Bach? That hey, listen, I understand. I can get it now, especially now more than ever. They changed the name from the Washington Bullets because they had the freaking like per capita top kill rate in the nation at the time. I get it. You don't want to name the Bullets. I get that.
Yeah.
But it just seems like Washington is super woke. Like they're changing everything. They might as well change the Ravens now because Edgar Allan Poe said, quote now the Raven nevermore. You know what I mean? That's what's going on now. It's gonna be Edgar Allan Poe and the family comes out. I don't like the Ravens, I don't know. Just call me crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's not the last name change that we'll see moving forward, but I thought that one was ready to be made, so I'm not too upset about it. The Bullets one, that is kind of weird that it has happened a few times in Washington, which is kind of the place that you would think would be the most careful with that sort of stuff, right? I mean, after all, are the nation's capital, but we'll see kind of how it goes moving forward with those teams. While we're sticking on an uncomfortable spot, did you see the Brian Flores news today? Now has had a chance. Now he is suing the NFL in a class action lawsuit in 3 teams, the Dolphins, Broncos, and Giants, alleging discrimination regarding his interview process with Denver and New York and his firing last month with Miami. For what it's worth, there is only one. For what it's worth, there is only one black head coach in the NFL right now, despite the Rooney Rule, which is in place to make sure that every time there's an opening, that a black coach will get an interview. But just one in Mike Tomlin right now. He probably felt like he got the short leash out there in Miami. You can go back to some other coaches that have had it as well. Jim Caldwell's done really well in Detroit. They haven't done better before or since him, seemingly. Unless you go way back and he kind of got the short leash. Do you see a problem like Brian Flores there, or do you think it's kind of I mean, he's right in the middle of the situation. So if he felt that way, it's time. But the problem for him is it's kind of falling on the sword, right? He's trying to do something for the greater good, but it might really hurt his opportunities moving forward.
Yeah. There's been a history of that. There have been some, in all sports that have, taken the L on behalf of the greater good of the leagues in itself. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I would say that I don't too much know about Brian Flores and his what his pedigree is and where he's come from, or what that all means. I would say that, I love to see like someone like Byron Leftwich, definitely someone like Eric Bieniemy, who, you would have to question if, why, what is it that they don't have that, somebody else does, right? I understand, the success, for example. We'll get into the hardball conversation in a little bit. I can understand him, coming and going. He had a successful tenure with the San Francisco 49ers at one point. And so you can kind of understand maybe you giving him a shot. Guys, you can look at it in some instances and say that there are some that seem to get more of an opportunity, even on the rebound, than maybe, an African-American coach. But I'm not going to overly just look at that and say that that's the case. Because I don't know the conversation. He could be a bad interview. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna look at it and just say carte blanche that, just because of this. And I don't believe you should just hire somebody either just because of, what their race. Then you're in Miami, right? Miami has a very big Cuban. Why don't you hire a Cuban guy? If you want to really look at it, right? If that's what it's going to be about. I just really don't know. But again, I just don't know what his hire is. He could be sitting down there and bombing. Like, he could be sitting down there talking about the game plans that he wants to put together and the thing, and it just totally crashes with what the organization. I don't know. So I can't overly speak to that. I hope that there's none of that going on. You would hope that it's not the case, being that the NFL has a large number of, African-American players as well as the NBA. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to know. We're all kind of in that situation, right, where we don't have the insight of what's kind of going on there, so you kind of wait to see how this thing plays out. But I guess there is the possibility that when Brian Flores was let go by the Dolphins, it seemed like a lot of the talk was basically, whoa, I wouldn't have seen that coming, right? Like, and so it's mostly like I would say a majority of the nation, or the response that Brian Flores probably heard was, you should still be a head coach in the NFL. And then when he goes around and gets interviewed and doesn't get other jobs, maybe sitting on it would further frustrate him. But then again, who knows? Maybe he's felt that way. He doesn't want to be quiet about it, and he's going out after to try to make things better, like in the future. But so we'll see. We'll kind of have to wait and see how that turns out.
Another quick point is, like, for example, we don't know if he lost the team, right? It could be that too. It could be the conversation gets around, if you lost the quarterback, if you lost the guy who you're paying the big bucks to change your franchise around, if you lose that guy, then it's hard, because he's the one that's got to go out and battle for you. So it did seem like there was some kind of issues there. I don't know. I could be wrong, between, Tua and him at some points. And so I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it's rumor. Maybe it's not anything. You just don't know, right? It could be the same thing with, like, an Aaron Rodgers or a Peyton Manning. If you're the head coach and you lose that guy, there's some conversations that's going to go on.
Yeah, it's fascinating. We'll kind of see how all that stuff plays out. It's just some of the bigger news of the day. So we'd like to at least bring it up and feel awkward talking about it from time to time.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's kind of weird
because we don't have no inside. It's
right. Yeah.
Unless I'm the fly on the wall, sitting on the wall, and I'm just peeping in. I'm like, ooh, oh yeah, let's go get it. But other than that, how we really know? You know what I'm saying? It's your side, it's their side, and then there's something that's going on in the middle.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll kind of get some more answers on that in the coming weeks, months ahead. But for now, let's play Shootout with Strick. Give us a call, 402-464-5685. The first contestant will have a chance to win $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. All you have to do is beat Strick in a shootout, our little game show we have around the corner. Today's topic, by the way, Tom Brady, who is officially retired now. So if you've done some Tom Brady research, you followed his career, you know a little bit about him. it could, I mean, all that homework, the 20 years of homework could lead to $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. And then you can kind of tell whoever's been telling you've been watching too many Patriots or Bucks games that it paid off. It was all for this. So that's coming up next here on the Block is Shootout with Streak. Give us a call, 402-464-5685 to get in line to play Shootout with Streak. Coming up next here on the Block.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.07 per hour and other select jobs starting at $23.77 per hour, with wages growing up to $29.71 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Here's your binky, buddy. We'll be home soon.
You'd never give your baby a pacifier that has cigarette ash on it. But if you're smoking around your kids, yeah, it's kind of like that. Secondhand smoke contains thousands of toxic chemicals that can have a lasting effect on your child's health. Protect your children. Don't smoke around them or any child.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you considering a career in broadcasting? With the help of 93.7 The Ticket and the Nebraska Broadcasters Association, you can be part of this exciting field. We are offering two $2,000 scholarships to four-year college and university students who have completed 30 credits as of May 31st, 2022. Let us help you reach your career goals. For more information, contact 93.7 The Ticket. Applications must be received by the NBA by March 1st, 2022.
Hi, this is Sean Callahan with Koppel Chevrolet GMC. New vehicle production has been increasing, but the lots will not be filling up anytime soon. In fact, most vehicles are being pre-sold and are leaving the same week as they arrive. If you want your new Chevrolet or GMC, this is a great time to build a vehicle and place an order. Our sales team will work right with you to build the exact vehicle you want. At Koppel, we appreciate your business and sell vehicles at a fair price. So come check us out or visit us online at koppelcars.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Hey, sports fans, Rico here with HIS Auto Care 70th and Van Dorn. Carfax recently awarded us as a top-rated auto service center for 2020, and Lincoln Choice Awards voted us as the 2021 top independent auto repair center. Call us at 402-488-8934 for superior service bumper to bumper. Mention this ad and get 7% off. Doesn't get any better than that. Rico for his Auto Care 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric ensures our home and office HVAC systems run smoothly throughout the year to provide maximum comfort and convenience. Routine maintenance reduced our operating costs just by improving the efficiency of our unit. Consider a maintenance agreement to ensure you too receive priority for services and scheduling. This helps meet manufacturer warranty requirements. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Hey, Steve. Welcome to Great Clips.
Great Clips asks, what's the difference between good and great?
Come on back and have a seat.
Good asks you what haircut you'd like.
I have all your details from last time. Would you like the same haircut today?
Great already knows. With Clip Notes, we save your haircut details so you can get the same thing as last time, every time. Download our online check-in app today. Great clips. It's gonna be great.
Need to send a message? Send it with cake. Congratulations. Here's a congratulations chocolate rum cake from Beatrice Bakery. Thank you. Say thank you with an amaretto cake. I'm sorry that I accidentally hit your mailbox with my car as I was backing out of the driveway and then continued right into your prized petunias. You say that with a lemon drop cake. Everybody knows that. Beatrice Bakery in downtown Beatrice or online at beatricebakery.com. Here to help you say whatever it is you need to say. Welcome to our world of yum.
It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685, to take your shot against Eric Strickland. Shootout with Strick. Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Time to play the game!
It's that time of the day, Shootout with Strick, and today's topic is Tom Brady, as Tom Brady has made it known himself now that he is going to retire from the great game of football. Of course, he is the greatest of all time to do it by nearly every measurement you can look for at the quarterback position. So we do have our contestant. Alex is on the Hunt of Lincoln hotline, 402-464-5685. Alex, have you been are you a Tom Brady fan, or you just been a miserable other NFL fan that's had to watch Tom Brady rule the league for so long?
One of the miserable.
Yeah, well, yeah, in line. Mostly everybody, except for a lot of the fair weather fans that jumped to the Patriots there for a while. But at least you've watched him long enough, you kind of know some of these things, hopefully. And if you don't, it's either or questions, so it can't be too hard. We'll try to run through these. Each contestant will have 40 seconds to answer 5 questions. The 5th question is the money ball, so it is worth 2 points. Strick goes first, and if Strick wins, caller number 3 will get $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. If Alex wins, of course, he walks away with the chicken. So we'll start with you, Strick, if you are ready. I got to get myself ready here. There we go. Are you ready?
Let's get it.
All right, here we go in 3, 2, 1. Strick, how many MVPs did Tom Brady win? 3 or 4?
3.
That's correct. How many Pro Bowls did Tom Brady finish with? 17 or 15?
15.
That's right. Who was the highest drafted Husker in the 2000 NFL draft where Brady was drafted? Mike Brown or Dominic Raiola?
Raiola.
It was actually Mike Brown. True, false? Tom Brady never won a Super Bowl title and an MVP in the same year.
False.
It's actually true. Name one of the years Tom Brady won the MVP.
16.
No, it was not 2016. So, Strick, you finished with 2 points. I'll let you know when he won the MVP. It might be a question as well down the line for Alex, so we'll wait for that. But 2 points for Strick. Alex, you feeling pretty confident you can get to 2 at least?
Oh, we'll give it a shot.
I'll at least give it a shot. If you're ready, we'll go in 3, 2, 1. How many Super Bowl MVPs did Tom Brady win? 5 or 6?
5.
That's correct. How many Super Bowl championships did Tom Brady win? 7 or 6?
7.
That's correct. How many times was Tom Brady first team All-Pro? 5 or 3?
5.
It's actually 3. True or false? LeVar Arrington was picked first in the 2000 NFL draft.
False.
That is false. Name one of the years Tom Brady won the MVP.
14.
He actually did not win in 2014. He won in
It's
2007,
11.
2010, and 2017. Either way, 3 points for Alex will be enough for him to take home the gold and take home the chicken and earn the boom shakalaka and the shout out from Stone Cold.
Hell yeah! I said, give me a hell yeah!
And of course, Alex, you I guess Alex is collecting his chicken already, so he's moving on.
Man, I was 1 year off. I was 1 year off, Bob.
Yeah, it's surprising. 2007, of course, was the year that they went undefeated before meeting up with the Giants in the Super Bowl. 2010 and 2017, all years that he won the MVP, he did not win the Super Bowl championship. So it's kind of a weird coincidence there. The other thing is that was kind of interesting is as we call him the GOAT, the greatest of all time, you would probably expect him to be first team All-Pro.
All-Pro, yeah.
Only 3 times in his career. Always had to fight off the regular season stats of Peyton Manning or Aaron Rodgers or whoever was taking it from him that year. But then when it hit the playoffs, Well, there's Tom Brady
I get the
again.
big one.
He should have been first team All Pro all along. So that's kind of how it goes, and it's kind of sad to see Tom Brady walk away. It changes the game basically, and certainly it's in good hands. We've had these great playoff battles, and Aaron Rodgers is still obviously going to be around for a few more years. So, but it's just crazy because, and maybe we'll do this later. But I was going through the 2000 NFL draft and just thinking of names like LeVar Arrington and Mike Brown. It feels like 10, 12 years since we've seen those guys play.
Yeah, it seems like it's been forever. I mean, dang. It's just like it's like that thing where it's like Benjamin Buttons. It's like he's going backwards or something because he's still getting. It's like he's still putting up crazy numbers, over 5,000 yards this year. That's great. And unfortunately, lost some weapons at the end. Wasn't able to do it, but boy, just period to do that. Still at his age is phenomenal.
And it's kind of crazy with as competitive as he is to have those injuries. Of course, Antonio Brown left. Leonard Fournette was beat up for a lot of the time. Tristan Wirfs, one of the best tackles altogether in the league, was hurt. So it's just kind of weird that he was able to walk away as competitive as he is without probably the best shot in the playoffs. But as a lot of people say, maybe Giselle made this choice more so than Tom Brady. But if that were the case, she could have done that long time ago. So unless it was just until Tom Brady could prove to everybody that Bill Belichick was not the primary reason, it was him that they were bringing all those Super Bowls in New England. Fascinating stuff. Kind of a sad day. I know a lot of people were frustrated with Tom Brady and watching them beat his team over the years, but it's crazy when you walk away and you say that's a guy that I'll tell my grandkids kids about. Basically, I mean, this is an all-time great to watch him walk away today. A little bit sad, but again, the NFL's in good hands.
Yeah, they've got some great young talent that's coming up. You have Josh Allen, obviously. You have still Mahomes is going to be around. I mean, there's some great young quarterbacks. Justin Herbert. I mean, there's some great young quarterbacks that's still out there. And then there's still some yet to grace the field. You know what I mean? You still don't know what Justin Fields is going to turn out to be. Is he going to turn out to be, the likes of a McNabb or I don't think he's a Michael Vick type. I mean, I think the closest thing to Michael Vick is Lamar.
Yeah.
I think he's the closest thing you get to Michael Vick, except Michael Vick had a cannon arm, but there's still some guys out there that are still yet to maybe still, show improve. And, they're kind of waiting in the wings behind the likes of those types of guys. We'll see with Garoppolo leaving, what's going to happen there in 49er country, what they're going to do. It's interesting. It's going to be interesting, man. I'm looking forward to the offseason to see what happens. And the problem is I hate those lulls. What are we going to do? I mean, I love baseball too, but that's kind of a lull season because for a while through the COVID situation, it kind of merged because, they were kind of, things was happening during the same time in the summer. You had all these different things happening. And then you got the USFL that's trying to pop off. So there's going to be some football still to see, coming in March, I think, or something like that. So it's
that's going to be maybe that can catch on. We'll cheer for Mike Riley from wherever we are. But we'll see. Kind of a funny thing off the text line. Somebody says, "Hey guys, would you say Tom Brady is the most boring GOAT to watch of any sport? For example, he's nothing like Michael Jordan or anything else in his highlight reels." Maybe, but I like some of the deep balls he threw to Randy Moss, and I mean he had some big plays still. So I understand what you're saying, though. Not a whole lot of electrifying runs from Tom Brady in the least, but it's interesting. It's a new era now that Tom Brady's no longer going to be hanging over the league. So we'll kind of see how that stuff plays out. We'll take a quick break though, and next on the block, we will talk about some of the stuff going on in the NFL. Caleb Williams heading off to USC. All that stuff coming up next year on the block.
I'm ahead of my time, sometimes years out, so the powers that be won't let me get my ideas out.
Here's your binky, buddy. We'll be home soon.
You'd never give your baby a pacifier that has cigarette ash on it. But if you're smoking around your kids, it's kind of like that. Secondhand smoke contains thousands of toxic chemicals that can have a lasting effect on your child's health. Protect your children. Don't smoke around them or any child.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey, Steve. Welcome to Great Clips.
Great Clips asks, what's the difference between good and great?
Come on back and have a seat.
Good asks you what haircut you'd like.
I have all your details from last time. Would you like the same haircut today?
Great already knows. With Clip Notes, we save your haircut details so you can get the same thing as last time, every time. Download our online check-in app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric ensures our home and office HVAC systems run smoothly throughout the year to provide maximum comfort and convenience. Routine maintenance reduced our operating costs just by improving the efficiency of our unit. Consider a maintenance agreement to ensure you too receive priority for services and scheduling. This helps meet manufacturer warranty requirements. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Hey, sports fans, Rico here with HIS Auto Care 70th and Van Dorn. Carfax recently awarded us as a top-rated auto service center for 2020, and Lincoln Choice Awards voted us as the 2021 top independent auto repair center. Call us at 402-488-8934 for superior service bumper to bumper. Mention this ad and get 7% off. Doesn't get any better than that. Rico for his Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Need to send a message? Send it with cake. Congratulations. Here's a congratulations chocolate rum cake from Beatrice Bakery. Thank you. Say thank you with an amaretto cake. I'm sorry that I accidentally hit your mailbox with my car as I was backing out of the driveway and then continued right into your prized petunias. You say that with a lemon drop cake. Everybody knows that. Beatrice Bakery in downtown Beatrice or online at beatricebakery.com. Here to help you say whatever it is you need to say. Welcome to our world of yum.
Hi, this is Sean Callahan with Koppel Chevrolet GMC. New vehicle production has been increasing, but the lots will not be filling up anytime soon. In fact, most vehicles are being pre-sold and are leaving the same week as they arrive. If you want your new Chevrolet or GMC, this is a great time to build a vehicle and place an order. Our sales team will work right with you to build the exact vehicle you want. At Koppel, we appreciate your business and sell vehicles at a fair price. So come check us out or visit us online at koppelcars.com.
Casey's General Store is giving you the chance at winning 2 free tickets to a Nebraska home basketball game this season. Stop by any Casey's location in Lincoln throughout basketball season. Enter your name into the registration box, and you'll have a chance to win 2 tickets to an upcoming Nebraska basketball game. Every drawing will occur at least 24 hours before the game that has its selected winner. So make sure to get to any Casey's in Lincoln today for your chance at 2 free tickets for Nebraska men's basketball games.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
This is On the Block with Strick and Bach. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for 3! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
93.7 The Ticket veteran and lover of bread, Jake Bockelman.
What? I like bread.
Coming at you live from the Koppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. This is On the Block with Strick and Bach. Hold up.
Welcome back to On the Block. This is E. Strick. I'm Jake. My partner, Jake. I'm not Jake. That is my partner, Jake Bockelman. We're in the second hour of On the Block with Strick and Bach. We're going to talk a little bit about USC football and what they were able to accomplish and what does that mean for the Trojans, as well as the potential of the loss of the likes of a 5-star missing out for Wisconsin and what it could have meant for them. And we'll talk a little bit about those things, delve into it. We have a good second half of the hours coming up on the block on 93.7 The Ticket FM. Get on the app, follow us on all platforms. We're glad to have you here tonight. Jake Bachman, we find out today we found out, finally, it seemed like it was a long time coming. Kayla Williams has made a decision and will be joining his former coach, Lincoln Riley, there at USC. The awesome thing and the crazy thing about it is he didn't announce it like LeBron did in the method of the great reveal. He did it, though, by way of video. He did it on his Instagram. He posted it, and he shut down all speculation of a potential exit to the Power 5 schools that were also in the mix, which were Wisconsin and UCLA. Many figured that Williams would follow Riley and become a Trojan, messing with the hearts of the Badgers and playing with the emotions of the Bruins right next door to him down there in LA. So, Bach, my question to you is, how do you think this edition of Williams will do for the immediate future of the Trojans?
Well, it's fascinating. Kind of jumpstarts and them right into the expectations being there right away, right? I mean, I know they've done well outside of just Caleb Williams, but he's the headliner. Of course he should be. You look at all the kind of rankings. I think Lane Kiffin dubbed himself the portal king, and then after USC made their move today, he said, "Okay, USC's the portal king," and that's how it looks in the transfer portal rankings too. USC clearly at the top, and as well you should be. Caleb Williams, had he started from the beginning out there in Norman, maybe would have been right up there for the Heisman. I mean, he's the one guy that kind of was able to get enough attention somewhat on his own, right? I mean, obviously Bryce Young was there all year, but it was kind of figured that the Alabama quarterback was going to put up stats. Should be kind of the same way in Oklahoma, but it wasn't going that way with Spencer Rattler. So Caleb Williams kind of sparked that team a few times. For what it's worth, it wasn't always pretty. I mean, he didn't score the first half against Kansas. That's not pretty. He had another game where they ended up bringing Rattler back in because he was being ineffective. So I think sometimes we got to pause and remember that he's still a college quarterback, a young college quarterback with not a whole lot of experience. But at the same time, I mean, he was the one guy that kind of developed that following. And if he would have played from the beginning of the year, he might have been right there in the case of, to win the Heisman, where I know a lot of people got upset and say, what is this, just, Alabama or Ohio State, the quarterback award, whoever's going to win, whoever's in that spot, is better than everybody else. And that frustrated people. But Caleb Williams just didn't play enough games to be in that conversation in my mind. And ultimately that caught up to him. But now heading out to USC, it's interesting because we talked to Barry Trammell before of the Oklahoma, and he said that, the Caleb Williams, the Williams family was just about as surprised and appalled as anyone for Lincoln Riley's quick exit out of Norman over to USC. But it took a few months. It looks like he's forgiven him and he's ready to commit to the coach that he originally committed to, that he thought gave him the best chance at his goals moving forward, whether that's NFL or winning the Heisman or whatever his goals are. You could do much worse than Lincoln Riley. And so, going on out there, it immediately changes the way that you look at the Pac-12, but immediately changes how quick you expect USC to be a contender out there, now with one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. And sadly, it changes the way that I was looking at Wisconsin for a game or two, which I know a lot of fans here don't like Wisconsin, so fair enough. If you're celebrating as a Husker fan that Caleb Williams didn't go to Madison, but I thought for the Big Ten, that would have just been so fascinating, so fun to watch. And now he's kind of the face of the Pac-12. So that's how big of a move it was, is that he kind of could have been the face of whatever conference he was transferring to.
Well, I think there's two things the way that you can look at that, right? There's the aspect that Lincoln Riley had a pretty good track record with regards to quarterbacks, right? You had Baker Mayfield that had come through, and then, just Kyler Murray, who were top quarterbacks taken out of the NFL draft. So, that is his aspiration, is that he wants to be an NFL quarterback. And he believes, I think, that Lincoln Riley is one of the sources to help him get there. It seems that he has a West Coast flavor to him. So he, getting back out that way is not something that, he just seems like he's got that kind of West Coast flair to him. He seems like a West Coast Pac-10 style of quarterback as well, with that, in the likes of like a Mariota and those guys that have come out of there on that West side. I would also say that for Wisconsin, a lot of the things that they thought, and the reason they thought they had a chance is because they have a very pro style of offense. They felt that maybe, landing him and then also the relationship that he had with the new coach that's coming in there. My mind is I just drew a blank. His dad. No, up in Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, yeah.
His dad. I think they played together in college. My mind just drew a blank. But nonetheless, there was a relationship there, and they thought that maybe that would help to land him. But another thing is that they really felt that pro style could have drawn him in, but then they just haven't had a track record, of just putting those top tier type quarterbacks out there as of now. So now with that, let's turn to it. When we look at Wisconsin, they have a desire that they want to develop quarterbacks, right? Wisconsin feels that they want to be better at that point. Right now, Graham Mertz is somebody that they don't feel strong about. Then they have a gentleman by the name of Chase Wolf. That's Mertz played 13 games for them, and that could be a pretty potential quarterback problem in the passing game, where it ranks 83rd in the FBS, and excuse me. And then their passing yards per completion is like 11 or 12, and 105th in team efficiency, 120th in pass offense. They were very bad, right? Yeah. So, there's not much to look in their backup for Chase. They did recruit a young fella, a 3-star recruit, 41st ranked quarterback, 7th ranked in the state of Wisconsin. His name is Miles Burkett. He led his high school there, Franklin, to a 14-0 record in the Division I state championships there. Had a 71 completion rate, 3,400 yards over that, 36 touchdowns with only 4 interceptions. But again, inexperience, right? So they were hoping to land somebody. Now, I do have a question as we jump back over to Caleb Williams. What do you think it took so long? Why do you think it took so long for him to make a decision? Do you think he was still kind of opening it up, weighing out all the possibilities, seeing if a big name jumped out there, to land him possibly? Or do you just think, he was just really trying to weigh it out and assess whether or not, he really wanted to get back under Lincoln Riley? What do you think? What do you think it is?
Well, it's fascinating because I think he was like the biggest name in the portal that we've seen so far, and obviously we've seen some big names enter the portal. But he when his name hit the portal, I was thinking it might take $2 million to land this guy, right? And so that's what I was kind of thinking, is the NIL maybe deals. He's probably getting different calls every day from different schools about what they could put together, or maybe not the schools, right? With the NIL, you kind of have to do it through backward channels, but either way, I think the schools know what's going on. So that's kind of what I figured was going on. The fact that he ended up going to USC and kind of sticking, and USC probably has great NIL opportunities right there in Los Angeles, right? I mean, he can kind of build his profile there, maybe more so than a lot of different college towns across the nation, you would think. But at the same time, there's like a natural football connection, a football reason to go to USC. So I'm kind of fascinated overall that's why I thought it kind of took a long time. And that was the part of the story that I was maybe more fascinated than any reason, is because this new world of the NIL and the biggest free agent that we saw out there, is that what was kind of taking him so long to figure it out. And it looks like that may not have been the case, because ultimately he follows his head coach, which is pretty normal in the transferring world. So you kind of wonder what happened there. If Wisconsin was in the battle because of that, or if Wisconsin was in the battle, like you said, because of the connection with their new offensive coordinator, Bobby Ingram was the name.
That's it, Bobby Ingram. I knew it was. Gosh, dang it, yeah.
Yeah, but either way, it's just fascinating. But like you said, with Wisconsin, it's back to the drawing board. It's back to where Wisconsin traditionally is. I mean, they're still probably going to be favorites in the Big Ten West. You still have Braylon Allen and one of the best defenses, but it's the same Wisconsin recipe, which is run game and defense, which is great. But the offense, the passing game can't be that bad as it was last year for them to take that step up from being, an average Wisconsin team to a Rose Bowl type of Wisconsin team. I don't know if they're back there, but I do know that it feels like their ceiling is significantly lower without that Caleb Williams, obviously, because he's the difference maker. I mean, he's the Russell Wilson that you can put in that sort of offense, and all of a sudden they go from a potential 10-2 team to a conference champion and maybe college football playoff contender. So that's what I'm a little bit sad about Wisconsin. I would have liked to have the big bad wolf basically in the Big Ten West. I don't think you have that. So I mean, it's in one way that's good for Nebraska. Because obviously the division's there for the taking, but in the other way, just as far as the buildup and I think the progression of the Big Ten West, it hurts a little bit, and just the flirtation is all that really hurts. I mean, it's not like they had him and lost him; it was just the fact that they were in the conversation. So it allowed us to kind of think beyond typical Big Ten West reasoning and thinking for just a minute. But he's off to USC, and USC. I think the fascinating part about that is now is expected to win the Pac-12 and maybe be a top 10, 15 type of team coming off a 4-8 season, which I don't care who you are. That's difficult turnaround.
That's a great turnaround. Absolutely. No question about it. Let's stay in the Big Ten though. We see that Harbaugh has been talking with the Vikings a little bit. Some are speculating whether or not that would be a great spot for him. But some are also talking about how big of a loss that would be for Michigan as well as the Big Ten. So what are your thoughts with regards to him transitioning over? I know my thoughts, but let's hear what Jake Bakoven has to say about it. What do you feel that the loss of a Harbaugh would do not only for Michigan, but also for the Big Ten?
Well, again, a little disheartened as a Big Ten fan because I thought that at least hopefully it was going to need to be the right job for Jim Harbaugh to jump off to the NFL. And then, as we've gone on, they've been connected with the Bears and the Vikings and the Dolphins, and none of them are necessarily that fit into that right job to begin with category, but more so it just seems like he's kind of made up his mind, tomorrow being signing day, if he's going to have his interview tomorrow with the Vikings. I mean, it looks like he's moving on from Michigan, which is fine. And I wonder how people are responding to that in Ann Arbor, because you look back at his 7-year tenure there and just beating Ohio State once. If that's what you were told when they hired him, would you be excited about his tenure there? I'm not sure. I mean, overall, it has, he's stabilized Michigan, brought him back to that top 15 type of program type of level, which is what they needed when they brought him in. They'd failed with a few previous coaches, Brady Hoax and not Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh's the guy there. Brady Hoax of the past that didn't work out. Rich Rodriguez being the other major miss for them. So I think that where they are right now, they could get a nice coach. They could, I think one of the ideas would be to promote Josh Gaddis, who is the Broyles Award winner, a hot young offensive coordinator for them. Some of the other favorites I've seen are Bill O'Brien or Matt Campbell are out there as potential replacements. But either way, we're not replacing the star power of Jim Harbaugh. And now when I look back at it, it was just such a big deal when Harbaugh and Urban Meyer were entering the Big Ten Conference. They went from, kind of mediocre coaches to now they're competing with the SEC with the best coaches in the nation. While I still think the depth is really good, you don't really recover from losing an Urban Meyer and a Jim Harbaugh pretty quickly. It takes a while to kind of build up and get those type of brand names or big names at the college level within your conference. And it wouldn't be easy for Michigan, and it won't be easy for the Big Ten. But again, it's the same thing with the Caleb Williams discussion. If you're looking at it from the Nebraska point of view, where okay, now there's less of a big bear on the other side of the sideline. Especially, we saw the Nebraska-Michigan game. There was plenty of things to argue about that game. We heard like 2 new calls that you never heard in the game of college football before. Complaints about clapping. It was kind of a nice little rivalry that we had fun with between Harbaugh and Frost. And of course, it wasn't as fun for Nebraska fans as they never got on the winning side of that. But for Nebraska fans, it does make the Big Ten, if he does leave, a little more bearable. But the Nebraska's dug their own hole so far that really the problem is Nebraska. It's not the opponent at this point in time. So, it's hard to get too excited about any sort of movement there and whether that'll open up something for Nebraska.
Well, so some things that I found interesting as I began to look into Jim Harbaugh. I mean, I think he does have a wonderful name. He's had some success. He's won quite a bit of games other than his first 2 seasons at Stanford in 07 and 08. I mean, being 4-8 and 5-7, he began to make that program, which really put his name on the on the block, so to speak.
Yeah.
Is in 2009 turned it around, started an uptrend at 8-5, and then boom, in 2010 had the big one, a great run at 12-1, and then getting as high as 4th in the country, and then landing an Orange Bowl win, which that was significant. Then the next year, he finds himself back. He makes another stint, another run, and then comes back in 15. Finds himself at Michigan and gets off to a great start at 10-3 and wins the Citrus Bowl. But then it all goes downhill from there. See, that's the thing that I think that even though we have Harbaugh, I think that he, you can kind of put in place that he just could never win the big one, right? You see, other than that Stanford 2010 season at 12-1, though he's only had really 3 losing seasons, the first 2 at Stanford, and then that one where it was 2-4 at 2020 during the COVID season. But, he's always been a 12 or a 10-3, a 10-3, a 9-4 type of coach. Just never been able to win the big ones, and then would lose the ones that he wasn't supposed to. And so it made him very mediocre. Another thing I saw is that he's only won 2 bowl games out of 6. I mean, he's 2-6. Yeah, he's 2-6, 2-7, because he lost this recent Orange Bowl. He's 2-7 in bowl games, and that was back in 10 and 15. So those are the things that I think when I look at him, I had to say, maybe it was time for him to make the shift. I mean, maybe he didn't see that there was greener pastures still left for him at Michigan. How do you view it?
Yeah, I mean, that's how I think it is. Ultimately, he was asked to after that 2-4 year. It's kind of well known around here because Scott Frost basically doing the same thing this past year. Is after a bad year, they asked him to restructure his contract to make it a little more team friendly, which you don't usually hear at the college coach level. But that's what he did, and so I think this redemption story this past year was very cool, and it all came to the glorious conclusion for him and in the fans in Ann Arbor of beating Ohio State in the Stowe at the Big House, and everybody kind of running onto the field, winning the Big Ten championship. That's something Michigan fans have been clamoring for a long time. It's tough to do, so it's almost like that he feels like he hit his ceiling. He's not a coach, like you said, that has gone undefeated before. He's been in the Super Bowl. I mean, he's been in the college football playoff now, so he's taken his teams to the highest levels, but never quite been the guy that goes undefeated. It's kind of interesting too, because just the way he is, I mean, he's certainly a football guy, right? If you like football, you'd like to be around Jim Harbaugh. So I don't think that there's a problem. He's been able to coach at the NFL and college level, but he just, sometimes you worry about coaches when they go from the college level, maybe even Nick Saban or Urban Meyer, the most recent example is, you have to treat your players differently. Urban obviously didn't treat his kickers very well, but you can't talk down to them. I mean, they're professionals now. This isn't coaching. You're not there to be, a father figure. You're there to be, you're their head coach now. It's a professional setting. And Jim kind of seems like a guy that would maybe rub some guys the wrong way in that way, but he didn't. I mean, he's obviously had success at the NFL level. So I think whatever team gets him will be excited. It just feels maybe it's the struggle to beat Ohio State, the struggle to beat Michigan State and Michigan, that he, other than this past year in Ann Arbor, he didn't live up to the hype. So I don't think that he's at the same level where he would have been when he took that Michigan job, when he could have had almost any job in the NFL and at the college level that he wanted, ended up going with Michigan. It doesn't feel that way now. He kind of going in and out of interviews in the NFL and looking for a spot. And I'd still think he'd be solid, but I don't think there's this belief that he's one of the top 5 coaches in football
that's coming out. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I think that sums it up. I mean, we'll see, and we wish him well, whatever he decides to do. And hopefully that Michigan will land a top tier guy to lead the program and continue to keep the Big Ten strong. And I mean, I think the one good thing about it is, Harbaugh didn't leave him in bad hands. I mean, he didn't leave him, stuck out there.
Yet. It's not official.
Yeah, it hasn't been official. Regardless, if he leaves, he didn't leave him bad off. You know what I mean? He left him with at least something. if he does decide to make that transition or he does come back. And I think he still has a couple of years. I think up until 2024, I believe, is when his contract would be over. So, So after this, we'll take a break right now. We'll come back. We'll talk a little bit about Tom Brady, the GOAT's retirement, and he's made it official. And we'll also delve into another coach that may be making a transition, and that is Josh McDaniel. We'll talk a little bit about that in the next segment, right back on The Block.
Electric ensures our home and office HVAC systems run smoothly throughout the year to provide maximum comfort and convenience. Routine maintenance reduced our operating costs just by improving the efficiency of our unit. Consider a maintenance agreement to ensure you too receive priority for services and scheduling. This helps meet manufacturer warranty requirements. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Hey, Steve. Welcome to Great Clips.
Great Clips asks, what's the difference between good and great?
Come on back and have a seat.
Good asks you what haircut you'd like.
I have all your details from last time. Would you like the same haircut today?
Great already knows. With Clip Notes, we save your haircut details so you can get the same thing as last time, every time. Download our online check-in app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
Fruitcakes are just for Christmas, right? Gosh, I feel sorry for you. I mean, what if we had done that with bacon? Bacon is only for breakfast. We'd never have bacon cheeseburgers. We'd never be able to save a salad by adding bacon bits. We'd never have Brinner. That's breakfast for dinner. Don't limit yourself. Fruitcakes for St. Patrick's Day. Fruitcakes for graduation. Fruitcakes for Thursday. Beatrice Bakery and Grandma's Fruitcakes are perfect for every occasion. Check them out in downtown Beatrice or online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now. In our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank. A relationship you can count on.
Increasing cloud cover, much cooler conditions here for our Tuesday. We top out at around 39 with a north wind at 15 to 25. Mostly cloudy tonight, a low dropping down to around 11, and it looks quite chilly for our Wednesday. We'll see cloudy skies with a high of only 16. That's a check of your forecast. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Casey's General Store is giving you the chance at winning 2 free tickets to a Nebraska home basketball game this season. Stop by any Casey's location in Lincoln throughout basketball season. Enter your name into the registration box, and you'll have a chance to win 2 tickets to an upcoming Nebraska basketball game. Every drawing will occur at least 24 hours before the game that has its selected winner. So make sure to get to any Casey's in Lincoln today for your chance at 2 free tickets for Nebraska men's basketball games.
There's not many things worse than having plumbing issues at your home or business, but it's even worse if the problem isn't fixed correctly. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time, and they specialize in several things: general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Hi, this is Sean Callahan with Koppel Chevrolet GMC. New vehicle production has been increasing, but the lots will not be filling up anytime soon. In fact, most vehicles are being pre-sold and are leaving the same week as they arrive. If you want your new Chevrolet or GMC, this is a great time to build a vehicle and place an order. Our sales team will work right with you to build the exact vehicle you want. At Koppel, we appreciate your business and sell vehicles at a fair price. So come check us out or visit us online at koppelcars.com.
Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary.
You just kind of feel a little more settled with a guy like Trev Alberts leading the way. I think that's a big part of it.
Trev Alberts is like a mix of the two. He knows the business side of it. He knows what needs to get done, how to make money, how to spend money, etc. You know, whatever you got to do there as an athletic director. Then on the personal level, he wants to get to know the coaches.
I think a good description for Trev is that he understands how important relationships are.
Weekdays from 2 to 3 on 93.7 The Ticket and
and theticketfm.com.
Hey, sports fans. Rico here with HIS Auto Care 70th and Van Dorn. Carfax recently awarded us as a top-rated auto service center for 2020, and Lincoln Choice Awards voted us as the 2021 top independent auto repair center. Call us at 402-488-8934 for superior service bumper to bumper. Mention this ad and get 7% off. Doesn't get any better than that. Rico for his Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Bach on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Yeah. The block is hot right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's me and Bach, E. Strick. Find us right here every night, 4 to 6, from Monday through Friday, where the block is hot. Yes, it is. And we're going to talk about a hot topic right now, and that is Tom Brady. Tom Brady is leaving the block. What you think about that? So, the Tampa Bay quarterback, Tom Brady, long time NFL quarterback, 22 long years, spending a lot of that there in New England. He is loved and hated, and some liked and some disliked, and some wanted him to fail, and some loved that he stuck it to him. And he was the biggest troll, I think, on Twitter as well. He trolled so hard on Twitter. He spent the majority of his career, as I said, with the New England Patriots. During that time, right. he ends up having 14 Pro Bowls, 6 Super Bowls. Then he says, bye-bye, Belichick, let me show you something. Goes down to Tampa Bay, signs with them in 2020, and then led them to a Super Bowl win in 2021, and then also got them back to the playoffs, but came up short. He was first in first for the team since 2003. That's when they last won. Their first was in 2003. So when we look back at it, his long career, I think some of the things we've got to look at what he said, right? He said, quote, he loved his NFL career, and now it is time to focus. Now let's pay attention to his words, because I think the words is what's going to give you a little bit of understanding as to kind of where his mindset is with regarding this retirement. I personally still think, after you hear this, what he says in his quote, I personally still think if the right situation, there could be a Favre moment, because if the right situation pops up, there's a conversation that you sit down with your wife, you're having dinner, she done cooked up a wonderful meal. Well, let me say Giselle didn't cook up no meal. The maid, the cook, right. The cook cooked up the meal, and they laid it on the table with the butler and all of that. And then all of a sudden, you sit down and say, hey, baby, so I know, we just got back from Italy. So, I just was thinking about something. I was wondering, just how you felt about, this Raider transition, or what do you think about, just maybe 1 year up in San Francisco, just go to Cali, we just stay in Malibu, baby, just see how it is, and I'll just run up to San Francisco, do what I do, and then I'll come back, baby, Yeah, I just can see it happening. But let's listen to the quote first. He says, I loved my NFL career, and now it is time to focus my time and energy on other things that require my attention. That sounds like a wife problem to me. I don't know about you. If you listen on the block, tap in on the Sauter Heyman text line at 402-464-5685 and tell E. Stricky if he's wrong. That sounds like a wife problem to me. Go ahead. You tell me what you think.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it seems likely that this is the family situation, and part of it is, he's getting older and taking shots from 300-pound guys every week. Maybe you want to get out while you're ahead, right? And he is ahead. I mean, he's the greatest player of all time. And he's got probably more than 100 different records to prove that. And it's he's 44 years old. So as much as he wants to battle father time, how long do you battle that until you lose? Because then once you lose, then you lost, and you don't get those years back or that injury back after it happens. So obviously, it's just one of those things of like, what more could he accomplish? What more could he ask for? And maybe his family's asking for a little bit more of him. And I thought it was interesting because you would think, as you get into that role where he's at as Tom Brady, you don't have to show up for training camp, or you could miss out on these meetings here and there because you're Tom Brady. But that's just not the way that he's ever reacted. He kind of said in his statement, that's not the way he goes about it. He said, this is a sport you got to be 100% in on. And he's just not ready to be 100% in on it right now. So, I mean, I think most teams and most fans would love to see, an 85% in, dialed in Tom Brady. And that would do well, that'd be just about better than every quarterback in the NFL. But that's not his competitive spirit. So, it's kind of sad to see. Like you said, he was a bit of a troll. The way he did it was thanking the Bucs organization and his personal trainer and everybody, along the way. Didn't mention the Patriots once, which you figure in his walk-off speech, that team would probably deserve some talk as well. I know that they released something, the Patriots did something official, and he responded to it, so all is well there. But that was kind of a weird additional part of this whole thing. But I do think that it's somewhat possible, as because he sounds like he's there, right? Like I said, like 85% in, wants to still be around the game. Sometimes it could even be maybe as old as he is. Maybe it's something that happens once he watches a few weeks of football. You might not get it till like week 5 or 6 when he realizes he misses it so much. But that is something interesting that I've always wondered too, is that, players, the year after you retire, how hard is it to watch games? And I guess I can ask you that.
Well, I think I'm a little bit uniquely different. I think that Tom Brady is built different, right? So for me, it comes from a standpoint of, I always knew that I was blessed to be able to play the game, at a high level. It didn't matter which sport it was. I knew I was gifted to do that. That was what the gift was for me. I think when the lights shut off for me, it wasn't that. Sometimes when the lights shut off for other individuals, they're attached to the game that has given them so much, right? Whereas for me, I was never like attached to it that way. I knew that my time was up, and I didn't really look back. I mean, you had moments. I think the only time I really had that moment was when I'm sitting there and I'm watching Dwayne Wade just go nuts against, the Mavs are up. They're in Miami. They're winning. They win that game. They're going up 3-1, and it could dang near be over in 06. And I'm sitting there watching that happen. And I think that probably was the only time where I was like, boy, if I was out there, that's not happening. What's going on down there right now? That's just, so that part of it kicked up in me. But I used to just say, people would ask me all the time, Strick, do you miss it? I'm like, nope, I don't. I don't miss the training. I don't miss the getting up. I don't miss the back-to-backs and then 5 and 7, 5 games in 7 days. I don't miss none of that. The knees and hurt and wearing the ice, and I don't miss having the new rules and having to chase Steph Curry and Kyrie Irving and all of them guys all over the place. No, I don't miss it. Whereas I think Brady's built different. So as Brady, I think sitting at home, you got the kids running around, you got Giselle in your ear. I think he may be pulling his hair out because that's not the cycle he's been on. You understand? The cycle he's been on is, for this period of time, it's been a continuous, for 20 plus years, it's been a routine. Mm-hmm. You knew what the routine was. When you've been at that stature, at that high of a level, sometimes that coming out of that routine, you can pull your hair out. For me, it just wasn't the same feeling. But I think you can have that feeling for Tom Brady. It's going to be hard.
Yeah, it will be. And I think too, like, I know there's no official announcement today, but Gronk kind of had this, said that if he had to decide now, it would be retirement. He said that a few weeks ago, or when the season ended or whatever for Tampa. And, you kind of think probably the same thing with Gronk. Gronk was probably led back to Tampa because of Brady. So as we see Brady go, and obviously he's at a different level, but Gronk was one of the best tight ends of all time too. And he's not official, but I don't expect to see him back either. So it's just kind of weird. This, like we said, the NFL's in good hands. There's, a lot of good young quarterbacks and even aging quarterbacks that are still there that will remind you of the Tom Brady era. But there's just a different level of, because it didn't matter how old he got or what happened. I mean, he was in the playoffs and he was somebody that you feared and you knew had the quarterback advantage in the playoffs. So there is a little bit of this feeling that now the league is a little bit more open. Obviously, it wasn't going to happen this year either way. The Bengals or the Rams will be fresh blood as far as the Super Bowl is concerned, as far as the national, the champion is concerned. So it was going to happen either way. But just moving forward, a little bit of a sigh of relief, I think, was exhaled from just about every front office across the nation hearing that. Tom Brady was going to go ahead and hang him up. So we'll see. I mean, it's always possible. Retirements don't always stick, but for what it's worth, it was kind of a surprise. Obviously, over the weekend, it became less of a surprise. The rumors were leaked. The sources went ahead with the story, so not so much of a surprise today. But I just thought the competitor that he was, the fact that he threw for over 5,000 yards, had 43 touchdown passes, it would be hard for him to walk away now. But it's also kind of cool to see somebody walk away at the top of their game as well.
Yeah, there's no question about it. We're going to wish Tom Brady well. We're going to still keep our eyes like you're sleeping, you kind of got that one eye open, kind of looking around, we'll still do that right here on the block, kind of keeping an eye on it and seeing how it all fares out when we get into the summer. But, one of Tom Brady's, guys, Josh McDaniels looking like he's found a home after all the turmoil that has happened there in Las Vegas with the Raiders, who still, with all the craziness, the losing of 2 first-round high draft picks, and, then the situation that happened with John Gruden, and it just seemed like it was a debacle going on out there in Vegas. And but still, they ended up winning 10 games and made it to the postseason for the first time since 2016. They drop a general manager, they kick out an interim coach, and then now all of a sudden they find their way looking out east to the Patriot way, and they found the hire of Josh McDaniel. Josh McDaniel ends up taking over the job. Director of personnel, David Ziegler, who is Mayock's replacement, takes over as well. They found that the longtime Patriots offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniels, will be their next coach, and he will lead their team. The crazy thing about it is on one hand, McDaniels is a well-respected offensive mind. He's a young, just inspired coach who's played a significant role, a large role in the 6 of New England's Super Bowl wins. But then on the other hand, he had a short stint there in the Denver Broncos disaster debacle that was him, and it was all him because he was hired there to be the head coach. And calling his hire also that as the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, which, it just doesn't do him no justice, but he finds his way back to a head coaching job there in Vegas. So how you feel about that one, man? I mean, I don't know. I'm lost. I mean, but see, that's the part that we're talking about though, right? We're going to talk about Josh, but that's the part that we're talking about is, guys like that can, go and lay an egg and then find their way right back. But he is a great mind. I mean, he comes from great pedigree, definitely comes out of the stock of Bill Belichick. And, sometimes that happens, but that's probably where a lot of the people's thoughts are saying, fail, but chance, right? And so, I don't know if that's where we have that, disagreement with regards to what's going on in the coaching pedigrees. But Josh Daniels is a new head coach of the Oakland Raiders. So what's your thought?
Yeah, a lot of people are grading this out pretty well, and just because we've known about him, right, for almost 2 decades now, and so he's kind of been around, and so I think there's part of the reason is kind of forgive what happened in Denver drafting Tim Tebow. I mean, he's the man that did that. That in the first round, that was quite a surprise. And obviously, they did have the playoff win there that year, but things quickly crashed around that whole situation. And he had a videotaping scandal as well. I mean, they had that whole thing where he was videotaping the 49ers practice before, not him, one of his staff members doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So, kind of all that stuff really came to a crash. He revived his career and did enough in New England. I still, I'm not sure if I'm so impressed with what he was doing. Part of it's, Mac Jones, and he had one of the best rookie seasons of any quarterback, probably the best, right? Without the talent necessarily as far as athleticism goes. So I think that he's maybe deserving of a second shot. But if I'm Oakland, or we're still saying Oakland, if I'm Vegas, they did interview Rick Bisaccia, who took over, did a great job with all the turmoil they had to get that team to the playoffs. I don't see Josh McDaniel in this gamble to revive his career as something more important or such a big hire that I wouldn't look at the interim coach that they already had in place that was successful. And you've already heard that a little bit from some of the rumors are coming out that the Raiders players aren't too happy that their interim coach wasn't given an opportunity, and instead you go with this hire. Like I said, I mean, I can forgive him for the Denver thing. A lot of coaches, you talk about the retread coaches in the NFL. It's been like 12 years. So it's been long enough. He's earned his stripes on the way back to getting this opportunity. I just always talk about fit and maybe like, just kind of situation. And I think situationally, Oakland would have, or I'm going to keep calling them Oakland. We'll just continue doing it. Vegas, it would be better off with the interim coach that they had that led them to success rather than this gigantic gamble in my mind.
Yeah. It's he's coming into great stock. So he's got some stuff to work with. He's got some pieces there. He's got a solid quarterback in Derek Carr. Obviously, the losing of the first round draft picks and then also the Ruggs situation, that's gonna be hard, but he still got some things there that he can work off of. So kudos to Josh McDaniel, and congratulations to him on his new start there out west with the Las Vegas. I wanted to say Oakland too. It's crazy. For the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, I still halfway want to say the San Diego Chargers. I mean, so I'm all thrown off. So we're gonna take a break right now, and we're gonna jump back in, hitting the hardwood at 5:45. Well, we've already passed that, but we're gonna take a quick look at the NBA snubs of 2021 and see if there's anything surprising there when we come back on the block.
And now a limerick from the world of Yum.
There once was a man in a bind. He's got the best wife in all mankind. And with Valentine's Day not that far away, he needs the greatest gift he can find. Jewelry can be hit or miss, and that vacuum was quickly dismissed. Flowers, they die. Homemade, don't be that guy. But what about that bakery in Beatrice? Liqueur cakes, you'll eat every crumb. Fruit cakes made with brandy, bourbon, and rum. And those chocolate cake squares. Do I have to drive you there? Get yourself to the world of Yum.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean. And there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank. A relationship you can count on.
Increasing cloud cover, much cooler conditions here for our Tuesday. We top out at around 39 with a north wind at 15 to 25. Mostly cloudy tonight, a low dropping down to around 11. And it looks quite chilly for our Wednesday. We'll see cloudy skies with a high of only 16. That's a check of your forecast. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You can search online for hours to find the best electricians in Lincoln and the surrounding area, but I'll save you time. High Electric has been serving their customers for 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They're experts in everything electrical, from remodeling to new additions, hot tub installations, electric vehicle chargers or EV chargers, lighting, ceiling fans, and more. High Electric takes jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at highelectric.com.
Every time the back door closes, it squeaks and reminds me of how I used to go out back for a cigarette 2-3 times a day when I was stressed, when I was hungry, when I was bored. But then I think of how the stale taste lingered in my mouth, and I reach into my purse and pop a stick of gum. And the craving is gone.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
There's not many things worse than having plumbing issues at your home or business, but it's even worse if the problem isn't fixed correctly. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time, and they specialize in several things: general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop, located at 5001 O Street.
Hi, this is Sean Callahan with Koppel Chevrolet GMC. New vehicle production has been increasing, but the lots will not be filling up anytime soon. In fact, most vehicles are being pre-sold and are leaving the same week as they arrive. If you want your new Chevrolet or GMC, this is a great time to build a vehicle and place an order. Our sales team will work right with you to build the exact vehicle you want. At Koppel, we appreciate your business and sell vehicles at a fair price. So come check us out or visit us online at koppelcars.com.
Casey's General Store is giving you the chance at winning 2 free tickets to a Nebraska home basketball game this season. Stop by any Casey's location in Lincoln throughout basketball season, enter your name into the registration box, and you'll have a chance to win 2 tickets to an upcoming Nebraska basketball game. Every drawing will occur at least 24 hours before the game that has its selected winner. So make sure to get to any Casey's in Lincoln today for your chance at 2 free tickets for Nebraska men's basketball games.
Gentlemen, Valentine's Day is just around the corner. Don't be that guy running to the store for flowers and a card on your way home. Hey, Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. We have great Valentine's gifts in store now. And if you spend $99, we'll throw in a free bouquet of a dozen roses. Give her what she really wants this year and let us do the rest. Sartor Heyman Jewelers, your hometown jeweler since 1905 in Lincoln and Grand Island. Online at sartorheyman.com.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Bach on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's time for Shootout with Strick. Actually, Shootout with Strick was already, we did that already last hour. I forget how we're changing our basketball-based names here. Hitting the Hardwood with Strick is where we're going. Our weekly, or daily, I should say, NBA segment to close out the show. Not a whole lot of time left here as we started talking about Tom Brady a little bit more, but we'll get to the association here in the form of talking about the all-star starters and maybe the biggest snubs coming out of that. First, I'll name the starters here. For the East, you have KD, Giannis, Embiid, Trae Young, and DeMar DeRozan. The West starters were named about 5 days ago: LeBron, Jokic, Steph Curry, Ja Morant, who's doing miraculous things out there with Memphis, and Andrew Wiggins, maybe the surprise, but getting a lot of the fan vote to go and go ahead and be a starter. I guess when you look at that, who would you put as far as an all-star snub? And probably in the case of Wiggins, do you think it's fair to let the fans vote and push a guy that's having maybe a best year for him? He's a former number 1 draft pick, but I don't know. He might be the 4th best player on that team.
Yeah, anytime you're playing on that Golden State team, you're going to get a lot of eyes because you've got Steph Curry, one of the top players, probably one of the top jersey selling players, if he's still at that level. I don't know what the rankings are, but I know of last year he was that. When you've got that kind of eye on you, it's going to raise the bar. What I'm surprised about in the snub for me in the starting lineup only, because he is going to be on the All-Star team, is Devin Booker. There's no question. I think he's been snubbed for the last 3 years in some form or fashion. And I definitely thought with them having the best team, I think out West, and also what they're doing, you can even look at Chris Paul, but I think Devin Booker definitely in the starting lineup over Andrew Wiggins would have been the snub for me. That's the biggest one.
Yeah, and another one that maybe people have brought up is maybe Zach LaVine, who, his partner there in crime, DeMar DeRozan, did get the All-Star starting spot, and is clearly, he's the leader of the team, but LaVine is not far behind there. So like you said, I mean, some winning teams with Phoenix and the Bulls there maybe getting snubbed. Another idea that I've seen people were a little bit frustrated by, one is Paul George, who is injured and wouldn't be able to play in the All-Star game anyway, so maybe that's not as frustrating just because the injury comes up. But Luka Doncic left out of the All-Star starters as well, and he's it seemed like the choice had to come down to him and Ja Morant, and they're both kind of the solo, leading their team without another superstar, and ultimately you went with Morant. And Morant's having such a spectacular season, I don't necessarily see that as a problem, but it's a little bit surprising for Doncic and his career trajectory after basically trying to lead the Mavericks, all by himself, and then great job in the Olympics with his home state Slovenia to bring them as far as he did. He seemed to be one of the top 5 players in the league are progressing that way, and now not an NBA All-Star this year.
Well, one of the crazy things about it, right? Him and Ja Morant missed roughly about the same games. Luka Doncic's 15 games, Ja Morant 13. The difference here is, and this is the part that you may want to look at, is that the Mavs are 6-9 without Doncic, and the Grizzlies are 11-2 without Morant. So he has a little bit more help on that side. So it would seem to me that Doncic is more essential to his team's success than it is for Morant right now.
Yeah, in All-Star starters, maybe that doesn't matter so much. I mean, it's more the All-Star team. So hopefully, as these guys do get snubbed, somebody has to start. But it's the All-Star game; no one will be playing defense, and they're not going to care too much anyway. But either way, it's a great honor to be named.
Well, he's definitely. I mean, Morant is definitely, when you're talking about an All-Star game, he's definitely more flam. He's got more of that that it factor than Doncic than Doncic out there. Yeah, so that could be another reason. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, it is clearly a game for the fans, and I am excited for Andrew Wiggins to finally get that opportunity. But at the same time, I don't know if he deserves it. I mean, he's borderline not an All-Star altogether. So that's kind of a weird scenario playing out there, but the fans get a vote, and they love them some Wiggins this year, watching him get into, early there in Golden State didn't look like he was always going to be a good fit there, but now it's filled out. About 20 seconds left here on the block, so I'd like to thank you guys, the listeners out there, for sticking with us. Ticket Weeknights coming up next, up the middle with some Nebraska baseball players. That's always fun to listen to their stories. So that's coming up next year on the block. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll see ya.
This is your high school